What's up, guys? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Deck Talk Podcast. And today we have one special guest, probably one of my favorite fishermen of all time. I enjoy watching this fella go out and wet a line and yank on it. But guys, let's do some business real quick. And we we and today's sponsor for the episode is Fish Lungs. And are you tired of your prize catch fish gasping in the live well? Introducing Fish Lung. It's a pump with 98% oxygen back into your tank to keep your fish live and kicking longer. No more need for dead baits. No more lost tournaments. Fish Lungs, fresh, vibrant catches every time. Get your Get yours today at fishlung.com, guys. And make sure you go and use the discount code DECKTALK10 and be able to get a discount on top of that as well. But, guys, if you don't know, I'm Colin Burnett.
And I'm Pappy Jake, and it is good to be back with you guys. It's been an exciting week. It's been a cool week, a cold week, and everything else that goes with the week. Hey, we got to salute the valor this week, and today is we're saluting our soldier of the week. It's Corporal Keith Goodwin, United States Marine Corps. He was in from 2003 to 2007. He was attached to the headquarters squadron and VMA-211. His MOS was a 7041 Aviation Operations Specialist. We want to thank you, Keith Goodwin, for all that you've done for keeping us safe and allowing us to go out here and to fish and to hunt and to do the things that we do. And we thank you for everything that y'all, the men and women in uniform, has done for us.
That is it. That is right. I mean, because if it wasn't for them guys, we would not be able to do what we do. But let's get on with the show, guys. We have a 2016 Bassmaster Classic winner, along with 2019 REDCREST winner, and the angler that is giving us the most fun 22 minutes in bass fishing tournament history, the most exciting 22 minutes. And we got Mr. Edwin Evers. What's up, brother?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Man,
Absolutely,
thank you.
absolutely. So, Mr. Evers, so how have you been doing, buddy? I mean, we understand you got a lot going on right now.
I went and got to pick up my boat today, so pretty excited about that. You know, going to get in the process of getting the Mercury broke in, and right in the middle of our busiest season, pecan season. You know, we've got a pecan business on the side. Me and my wife bought an orchard. I don't know now. It seems like yesterday, but it's probably 12 years ago, just as an investment, and it's turned into another full-time job in the fall. But I really enjoy it. It's really a beautiful piece of property, and to see the fruits of your labor of growing those pecans all year long, and then getting a chance to harvest them, and then eat a really good pecan pie for Thanksgiving or Christmas. So,
Absolutely. Well, you want to take a second and tell us about the how they can get in touch with you or order some of them?
We would love the opportunity. Thank you very much. No, it's just Edwin Evers pecans. That's the package. If you look at it, it says these nuts will make you smile. We got some really good flavors there. There's like 13 different flavors. There's some chocolate ones, and jalapeno is one of my favorites. Savory is one of my favorite. And then on top of that, we do a lot of Christmas gifts. So, like all day today, my wife's just making up gift baskets, and we'll put fudge. She makes fresh fudge. She makes fresh pecan pies, and obviously flavored pecans, and all kinds of stuff goes in these gift baskets. So we do a lot of corporate gifting. You know, just a company will call and say, "Hey, can you mail this many to these addresses?" So that's a big part of the business too. But man, would love to introduce some of these pecans to you guys there in your area or whoever's watching, because a lot of times when you go to a store and you buy pecans, they're like super dark, like they're almost red. And when you look at these pecans, they're really light in color. So that's a super fresh pecan. When you go to Sam's or Walmart, I don't mean to pick on them, but those pecans have been frozen for 2, 3, 4 years, and they're just not any good. And
Yeah.
a fresh pecan and a frozen pecan for 3 years is a huge, huge difference.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
I can imagine. I think the only thing that tastes good with it still being after frozen are those Christmas trees from Little Daddy. So,
Yeah.
so, but
Well, let's jump right into this. I got some questions, and I
Fire
know
them.
everybody's wanting
You're
to
rolling the
got
sleeves
other
up on
questions.
me here. What are we getting into?
So you've had an incredible career in your professional bass fishing, including winning the 2016 Bassmaster Classic. And what do you consider the defining moment that propels you to the level of success where you're at now?
Defining moment. You know, I don't know that in my mind, I'm still competing every day. So like I'm still trying to
Yeah.
climb that mountain. So I don't know. You know, I feel like if I've hit a pinnacle, then I'm on the. I just don't want to be done with it. So,
Right.
you know, for me, the biggest moment in my career was winning that first. Back then, it was a BASS Top 150. It was actually on Lake Eufaula in Alabama back in 2002. And that tournament propelled me to make the Classic a second time. I'd made it through the Opens, and it was $100,000. And I mean, guys, at that time I was so broke. I lived in my truck, and like it was like for me a defining moment in my career because I could win against the best, and it just gave me the confidence to continue to do it. And you know, that's all I ever prayed for growing up was just to be able to make a living, just to be able to continue to do this. And here I am. I turned 51 a few days ago, and I'm still getting to make a living, just doing something I wanted to do. I never, in my wildest dreams, would think I'd be this successful or have as much fortune as I've had. I'm just happy to be doing something I love to do, and been doing it for a while.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Now, would you want your career to go as long as a like Rick Clunn? Is that a mindset of?
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows that answer. You know, like I didn't think I'd still be doing it now. You know, if you'd asked me 6, 7, 8 years ago, I was pretty frustrated and I was done. That's why we bought a pecan orchard. But you know, over the last 4 or 5 years, I've had fun. So I'm really, really enjoying it. You know, now staying with Hot and Andy, I enjoy that part of it. So I think as long as a guy's having fun at his job, he's always going to keep doing it. So, you know, I feel like I can still compete and win. And, you know, I feel like this past year wasn't one of my best years, but I still made the championship. Um, I feel like this year could be the year I contend for another Angler of the Year title. It's a hard sport to be consistent in. And it's a hard sport to beat these guys. Like it's really, really, really competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what trophy do you that holds more to your heart with? I mean, because with the classic REDCREST, and then I mean also I mean when you won REDCREST, I mean you had one. I mean that it just was not just REDCREST. That whole year, you just kind of just told everybody, "Hold on, watch this," and you showed out for sure
You know, that
in
year was
2019.
there was a lot of extra motivation that year because it was a brand new league, and it was you're going from some place where you knew what was happening, you knew where it was all at, to an unknown. And there was a lot of extra motivation that year just to do anything and everything you could to catch them because, you know, you just turned away from something, the only league that you'd known for, I don't know how many years, 16 years, 15 years, whatever it was. So there's a lot of extra motivation in that REDCREST, and to be successful, and I needed the league to be successful. I needed it all to be successful. But, you know, as far as memorable, it's going to be mega, mega hard to top that 2016 Classic at Tulsa.
Yeah.
And I say at Tulsa because, you know, we'd already had one there and I didn't do any good. And then when you pull into that arena, and that was one of the biggest crowds they'd had in a long time, and to have that many hometown fans that happy for you to share it with them, to share it with my family, my son, my daughter, just my friends, you know, that That's one of those things that'll. I don't know that it could be topped. It was mega
Yeah.
mega cool.
Yeah. Well, and
I
the thing
remember,
is,
I remember whenever you guys had come to Dayton,
Yeah.
and man, I was so pumped. I just got back off of deployment, and and I followed you a lot. Of course, the back then technology wasn't, all we had was TVs and magazines. I followed you and KVD and a couple other guys, and I remember when we walked through the gate there, you were the first one I seen, and I looked at my wife, and I literally got starstruck, and I said, I have got to get a picture with Edwin Evers, and literally, it was like I was meeting my wife all over again. I was just all giddy, and
Thank you. Thank you.
but
Thank
but
I don't
I
know if
just
that's a
wanted to
compliment or not,
share
Edwin.
that. But can you walk us through your approach to a pre-tournament preparation, and what are your key factors on what are you focusing on scouting a new body of water?
Through my career, like early in my career, I would go pre-practice, and then I really got away from it because I felt like it hurt me more than it ever helped me. Because I felt
Right.
like in those practice days, I'm trying to find fish that were there 30 days ago. Um, and I've been fortunate enough that I've seen most of these lakes. Now, there's an occasional time, let's say a year or two ago, we had a tournament down in Louisiana. I think it was on Darbone or a couple lakes I'd never seen. So I did go down and try to navigate those and look around prior to the off limits. But just as far as preparing for a tournament, I'm going to set my app on my phone to that local city and really watch the weather leading up to it. Really try to watch the rain, the water levels, and that's really it. As far as studying the lake, um, we just got such good maps now in our depth finders. Where before, yeah, you'd spend a lot of time studying paper maps. I still have a file cabinet full of them, but I haven't traveled with them in years. Uh, I do try to think about it a lot, though. I just try to think about different scenarios, and I think the thing that helps me more than anything is just probably fishing around the house leading up to that event. If it's an event along the same parallel, just say Oklahoma through Alabama through South Carolina, just getting out and doing some wintertime fishing,
Yeah.
getting in that zone of the speed, the cadence. That's as much as important as I think as anything. As far as I don't know what else you can do. I just think getting in the zone and figuring out what speed you need to be fishing for that water temperature. Because so many times we all come out in the spring on a 70-degree day, first week of March, but that water temperature hadn't warmed up to how my body's feeling, and I really need to slow things down a little bit. So that probably helps me as much as anything.
Yeah.
So do you pay? You hear a lot of people say pay attention to barometric pressure, right? Is that one? Do you key on that kind of stuff, or?
No, like these fish in the aquarium, I can tell, they'll be up and down in that aquarium. But as far as our tournaments, we're going fishing that day no matter what it is. And
Yeah.
I can't honestly tell you I pay any attention to it.
Right.
Maybe I
Right.
Yeah.
should, but I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, some people do and some people don't. It's just kind of interesting from different people. That
Yeah.
like they're like really religious about the barometric pressure and what the fish are doing. By the pressure up and down, and it's just interesting to get different kind of perspectives from different anglers and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah. Now, you've fished some iconic locations across the country. What has been the most challenging lake or river that you've competed on, and why?
Florida has always been really, really a nemesis in my side. I can't tell you. I mean, I mean, it cost me Angler of the Year 2 or 3 different times. I'd have a 100th
Oh
place
wow.
finish down there, and I'd still finish in the top 5 or 6 in the standings. And it was one of those places that it had no depth changes and no edges, and I really struggled with that. I always wanted to make them be in a canal coming in or going out, or just growing up and knowing how I fish, just it's all depth changes or bottom composition changes and stuff you could see and look at your depth finder, but that stuff's not. It just doesn't exist there, and it's taken me a long time to figure out. One, I fish way too fast a lot of times for Florida, and two, just it's more about finding an area, and then you got to stay in that area. I kind of grew up pattern fishing and running laydowns or running creek bends all day, and you just
Right.
Florida.
Yeah. Well, we've kind of had to modify that question a little bit because we've had Ike on, and we used to ask, "What is the lake that you dislike the most?" And he flat out just says it's not a lake; it's a state. And he flat out said that Florida kicks his rear end every time he goes down there. So you're not the only person to say that.
Yeah, for real. And technology, it plays a huge role in the modern bass fishing and how advanced it in like the forward facing sonar changes your strategies on the water. So how does that have you dabbled in a lot of that or
Oh yeah, it's amazing how little we really know about bass fishing. When we thought all these fish were wherever, now we realize there's fish out in the middle of the lake floating underneath bait pretty much year round.
yeah.
It's really just a whole nother group of fish that we never really fished for unless they were on the bank spawning. So it's really changed the sport and opened our eyes to where a lot of fish are and how they relate to things and how many fish follow your baits and you never get them to bite. That's the most frustrating thing ever. But no, it's some cool technology, that's for sure.
Yeah. Now I do want to. I know I keep on going back to your greatest 22 minutes of the fish catch. Now, did you run over when you was catching all them fish? Were you looking at like going from inside the pocket out towards the main channel, or was the main channel behind you?
So if we got time, I'll just tell you the story. That's a spot that I'd fished multiple times in some other events and had big fish both times and just never could put it all together. I broke lots of fish off, lost lots of really big fish in 5 fish formats. And I came, we get the 30-minute ride around, and there's a beaver dam there right at that backwater. And I got over the beaver dam because I wanted to try to get over it. And then I stopped and I waited for lines in, had like 7 more minutes. And I did not know I was sitting on the mother load once I got over that beaver dam because we didn't get practice. And I fished all the way around that lake, and I'm headed back out. And it's where that water was being funneled out over it, and they were sitting right on the front side of it. There's a little hole there, and to answer your question, that's looking back out.
Well, because I didn't know like if because I was thinking on that video that you had said that you had that you were had went over it, or that you were sitting on top of it beforehand.
Yes, sir.
And so I was just wondering, like, did he have to come through that just to? But guys, if you have not seen that video, to me, it is the most exciting 22 minutes of nothing but fish catching, and I don't know if Edwin done this on purpose, but he got a fish penalty so he can take a 2-minute break just so he can get a little rest because it was.
It was bad. Like I couldn't get my fingers straightened out just from reeling fish in.
I know you was reeling one in. You was like, my doggone arms is cramping. I thought, man, that's a good problem.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, but yeah, because you have had some iconic moments in your career, and I believe, again, just like what you had said earlier, that I think the best is still yet to come. That you still have quite a bit to show us what Edwin Evers can do, and I'm excited for what's to come. And I think that REDCREST this next year is not too far from you, so hopefully
That'd be a
we
good
can
one.
get the crowd over there for you and get the family and friends over like you had in Tulsa, and let's duplicate that in 2016 and 19, and that would be something great to be able to have your family fairly close to you again
Yes, sir.
to
Yeah.
hold that trophy up.
That'd be awesome with it being right there at Table Rock and Branson. And if you guys hadn't been through that wildlife museum, that thing's amazing. It's, I think
Yeah,
it's going to happen right there at the Granddaddy stores. So be a neat location, for it and for the fans to come because there's just so much to do right there. That wildlife museum's 1.6 miles if you go through both sides of it. Just
Ooh,
walking.
Lord mercy. It's
yeah,
huge.
that is. I have not been through, but I've heard a lot of people talking about it.
It's worth it.
Uh,
We've been through it multiple times, and like my grandson now is 3, and that's real high on my list to get him back into it. He's been in it when he's little, but too little to know it. Like my son's 16, turned 17, he loves it. So it's something for the whole family.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, for aspiring anglers that are listening in, what is one piece of advice that you'd give someone just starting out in competitive fishing?
Seems like there's a lot, man. That's a monster question and a great question. Uh, after being a high school captain now for my son for the last 2, 3 years, these kids need to learn. Like they just need to learn how to find fish on their own, and you do that by more time on the water.
Yeah,
So many times, some of my kids will call, "Hey, I'm going to this lake. Where do I need to go?" And I'm like, "That's not really helping them, telling them where to go." And it's just time on the water like that. And I just feel like if you spend the time on the water, everything else is going to take care of itself. The sponsors, the just everything else falls into place. But it seems like a lot of them want to find the sponsors and then worry
yeah,
about catching fish, and it's just time on the water and develop a strength, figure out, I felt like in my career early on, I could not stand a spinning rod. I didn't call them very nice names. Um, I didn't like deep water. Um, and then I didn't like a jerk bait. I hated a jerk bait. But I knew to get to where I wanted to be, I had to be very good in all those things. So I tried to make all my weaknesses a strength, and I'd work
right.
on off season a bunch. And I think that's something else a young angler can do is just you got to get good at it all. I mean, I'd like
Yeah.
to have 2 techniques you're really good at, but you need to hone your techniques, all of them.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we have seen, like with the forward facing sonar. They just want to go and just put that forward facing sonar in the water and just go after them that way, which you can catch fish.
Yeah.
But I mean, y'all only have like one period that y'all could use it, and so you got to go back to what got you there, and so being able to be versatile and being able to go and find fish and being able to do it without that forward facing sonar is very key.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think the technology, the forward facing sonar is a good thing, but I also think it hurts a lot of young anglers. Uh, they don't get the full, I don't, I guess, learning curve as you did.
The
Coming
the
up.
the lean days, the the wintertime fishing where if you got 4 or 5 bites, you're doing something really good. Now it seems like wintertime is
Exactly.
one of the best times of the year to go.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. There's a lot to there's a lot to fishing outside of that forward facing sonar that I feel
Yeah.
like to be a well rounded angler, they all got to learn.
Well, and you had said it earlier. You said we've learned so much now that the forward facing has come out to where we didn't know before then. So and that's just a testament is we had to go out and find these fish.
Mm-hmm.
We relied on just basic knowledge, dock talk, and just time on the water, and and stuff like that. And now it's almost like a cheat code, man. You just go out there and
Yeah.
put around, and
Yeah.
you know, it kind of takes the fun out of it for me. Because I'm like you. I'm back in old school. Give me them old topo maps, and
Yeah.
and let's go at it.
Yeah.
But we're not there anymore, so
No, sir.
whatever.
But the thing is, though, what I've learned with having forward-facing sonar on my boat for almost 4 years, 4.5 years, that what we grew up learning about bass has been completely different. Their habits and stuff of what we thought growing up, it has been totally different. When being able to watch these fish actually in live doing what they're going to be doing, and it is very much a learning tool.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but to see what y'all can do with these tools and be able to uh, make it look so easy, and I think that that's the reason why people keep saying that they're a cheater box. And I tell them, I said, I'm waiting on the time when I put that sucker in the water and these bass just jump right in my boat. I'm waiting. So
It sure has given me more gray hair seeing so many fish follow a bait and not eat it. Just crazy to me. I remember a fish catch on Lake Fork, that event, and I cast it at a tree and I brought it down and brought the fish off of a tree, and like he's just following it. So like my boat's drifting. I'm never even reeling the line, but I got like maybe 15, 18 feet of line out, and the boat drifts, and I jerk it and pause, and he gets close, and like I drift, I think 100 yards. It sounds like a lot, so let's say I'm exaggerating, and it was 50 or 70 yards off of that tree with that fish following the jerkbait the whole time. We would have never done that before
nah.
placing the sonar. I mean, you make a cast at the tree, you pause it, and let it sit 20, 30 seconds. If he doesn't bite it, we move on, and there I am drifting across the whole lake with one fish following the bait, and it ended up being like an 8-pounder,
Yeah. So
That's the disturbing part of it right there.
Yeah.
That's the disturbing part of it.
Yeah.
well, and that's to me, that's what gets me so frustrated, is for the fact of with not having it, you don't realize what's actually following your bait. And then now you see it, and then you just see them just come up and just nose up to it, and then don't do anything about it, and then just turn around and swim off. And that's when I get frustrated about it. Like,
Me too.
I'm just ready to just turn the sucker off and just just go on back to the old ways.
Yeah.
So you've been involved in the conservation efforts through the organizations like Bass Anglers Sportsman Society. So what led you in over to that side of it?
To the conservation side of things?
Yeah.
Well, it's just our sport, man. It's just we all got to protect it. We all love it, so it's just all part of I feel like something we all got to do.
Yeah.
You think that would be a good, like these young anglers coming up, or even the ones in the college leagues and high school league, like they should probably maybe go through a class or a course or something like that to kind of help educate them on stuff like that?
I think it'd be great. I think Bass used to talk to us a lot about how to protect the fish and
Yeah.
weigh-ins and those things. I think a lot of people need that. You go to a local jackpot on Thursday night, and everybody's bringing fish up in their dip nets, and they set them on the parking lot waiting in line. And I'm like, man, guys, if you want to catch those fish in 2-3 years from now, you need to probably bring them up in a weigh-in bag. It'd make a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you, for me, like when MLF came about, like I was kind of torn. I did not know if I was going to like it or not, just for the catch wave release.
Right.
Because there's something about seeing anglers walk across a stage and hold up 5 fish. But being able to see what y'all have done with the catch wave release has made that a very entertaining. It's made fishing more entertaining sport. I mean, even though it may be a 1 pounder or something like that, but how y'all are being able to catch, and you're being able to actually, I think it's being able to show the people more like how great of an angler that y'all really are.
Yeah.
Because going in and just having your 5 best, yeah, that's great, but the actual catch, wave, release um, has actually it has definitely grown on me within the past, I'd say 4 to 5 years. So,
Yes, sir.
what is your opinion on that?
It's the hardest thing I've ever done. You know, if you think to five fish formats and events that I've had success, you might have your whatever the magic number is that you need. We all know what it is on whatever lake you fish.
Right.
You have 15, 17, 22, whatever that number is on your given lake. You get that thing by 10, 11 o'clock. I don't care who you are. You're taking a deep breath. You're relaxing. You're going to sit down. You're going to eat your sandwich. You're going to then get back up and go fishing and try to catch another big one. With every fish, there is never a break. Like you never ever can let off the throttle because there's always somebody else catching one, and it just goes to teach you how fast people really catch fish, and that's the hardest thing about it because you just until somebody experiences it, it's the hardest format in bass fishing. You can say what you want to say, but it is the hardest format in bass fishing. I've done both, and I'd prefer to go back to 5, guys. I can pace myself. I know how to catch 5. Like I can do that. The thing about it is, and like you think back to this Ultimate Angler event that we just had at Guntersville. I had a really good event, but I caught a 7-pounder one day. You know, if you replace that 7-pounder with a 4-pounder, my day wasn't that good. You know, and yeah, I made the right cast and I got that fish to bite, but so much hinged on that 7-pounder. If that fish
Right.
comes off, you know, that day's done. They're just where if it was a every fish counts deal, yeah, it's really cool. I caught that 7-pounder, and we still catch those 7-pounders in that, but they're just watered down. Like you just don't. It's not magnified like it is in a 5-fish event, and that's what makes it so tough because you can never ever stop catching.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how stressful and how. But you know, watching from our view, you know, you guys are just calm, collective, just throwing and catching. But I can't. I guess that brings on a whole new perspective, outlook on that. I didn't even really think about that. I guess it would be grueling.
Yeah, and I couldn't
The days are
imagine.
on where Timmy Horton pulls up to the dock and orders pizza and lays down in his boat. You remember that event?
I remember. Yeah,
It's not ever going to happen again.
I remember that.
Yeah. But he knew he'd won. You know, there's
Yeah.
no way in Champlain somebody was going to catch a bigger stringer than he had 23, 24 pounds. That's the max for that lake. You know?
Yeah.
It was a cool event.
and it's amazing to see how fishing has evolved. You know, I mean, my grandparents or both of my grandfathers have passed away, and for them to be able to see, I wish that they could just see how fishing has evolved. They've been gone for 15 years. One's been 15 years, and the other one's been 8 or 9 years. And just for them to see how much it has evolved would just blow their mind. And I think what MLF and the Bass Pro Tour and stuff like that are doing, and not taking anything away from Bassmasters at all, but I think that they are taking the right step to be able uh, to get these fish to work, because it's not about, you know, or what it's about is being able to have fish for like your grandson to be able to go. I've seen the video where you had your grandson out fishing on the back, and just the excitement. You know, I mean, everybody should be able to go and live that excitement of being able to go catch that first fish, even as a toddler or as an adult. And I think that how conservative that y'all are being with the fish and taking them. I mean, they're really not out of the water no more than a minute, 2 minutes at the max, and unless you
That's
break the
one.
scale for catching too many fish. So,
If
but
if I mean that is one positive that nobody could ever argue with, because
yeah,
as all of us that are on this podcast know how a May June post spawn tournament, catching them in 25, 30 feet of water and putting them in your live well and taking them back, that's hard on a fish. Like,
yeah,
or taking a fish off a bed and hauling it how many ever miles. So I mean, I hate it for the fan perspective, because that portion that you have there of getting to go across the stage, you just can't replicate that with that format. It's a trade off. Do you want to have
right,
fisheries that are going to be sustainable forever, with many more anglers coming, or do you want to have a fan experience, which I hate it, because that is one thing that all of us at Major League Fishing miss, is that fan experience of bringing them. And you guys mentioned it earlier, on the stage, but it is a trade off.
yeah. Now you was talking about spawning fish and stuff like that. Um, do you believe, in which I heard from another angler, that he believes that like a female, like if you catch a female off the bed, and like let's just say with Chickamauga, like, and you catch it on the lower end and you take it all the way up to Dayton, but eventually that fish will continue spawning until it has a complete spawn. Do you believe that?
I don't know. I know some of them do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts,
Right.
because we all have caught a lot of spawning fish around release sites a month later. Like they've always, it just seems like, man, around that release site in June, Hank Cherry catching that 10-pounder at there in, what's that, Richland Creek at Chickamauga, spawning when everybody else is catching them out offshore on the lower end of the lake. And I've heard that story a lot, of spawning fish spawning a lot later. So yeah, obviously a bunch of them do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So has it helped? And I want to kind of hit on with the group that you stay with, and you kind of brought it up with having Andy and Ott and yourself, and y'all are like totally different kind of spectrums. I mean, if you look at you, you're kind of more the laid back and all that, and then you have Andy, and then you have Ott. I mean, it's total three different characters that are all together.
There's no
But
doubt. I'm not laid back compared to Andy. Like,
right,
they'll tell you I'm not either. So, I'm gonna practice daylight to dark. Andy might practice one of the 2 days, and that's if there's a Chick-fil-A close, and not somewhere in the middle. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
oh no,
there's
you're good. You're good.
good dynamic between the three of them.
It and the videos that y'all do, and I really enjoy when all three of y'all are out on the boat. And my favorite one, there was, I forgot where y'all was fishing, but you had Andy and Ott at the front of the boat, and then you're in the back of the boat casting out in front of them, and they're getting mad at you because you're cutting them off, and so just the camaraderie that you
It's
have.
competition. It's competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
rights on the line.
Yeah.
You got that right. Literally on the line.
We got another one coming out. There's a video coming out either this week or next week. We did it again for 2 hours, and I don't want to say anything about it to give anything away, but you guys got to watch it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, what, who? Because I know that the big thing about that I see on their videos and stuff, like when y'all are back at like the house or whatever.
Right.
So who does majority of the cooking?
It would be a toss up. I generally always cook breakfast. Aunt does a lot of it. I do help. Andy does zero. Like zero. He will try to say every now and then he's done some cooking, but that's him bringing a dish that his mom made that we eat on that week. He said, "Well, I was like, you didn't cook that, buddy." He does zero. I'm not too sure he's ever done any dishes. Like he made it quite clear when it all started. Hey guys, I like to go out to eat. I'm not eating at the house, and me and I like to eat at the house and eat our own food and not eat somebody else's. So
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, balancing the family life with the demands of the pro tour circuit, it's got to be tough, and physically and mentally. How do you manage that, and what roles does your family play in your fishing journey?
early in my marriage, we've been married now 20, 21 years.
Oh, congratulations.
We had a 2 week rule. We never would go more than 2 weeks. They'd travel out to see me wherever I was at. We had a lot of back to back events and a lot of events early in my career that was on holidays. Uh, it hadn't, now Major League Fishing, we don't have near the events on holidays like we used to. So, and the events seem to be a little bit more spread out. But I think it just boils down to having a really good wife that, man, I when I was courting her to get married, I was like, babe, I'm going to travel a bunch. It's my job, it's what I do, and she knew that when we got into it. So they definitely support me in all that I do. My son, he understands it all, and my daughter the same way. It just stinks now, like when you miss those birthdays or grandkids. I got grandkids now, and you miss a lot of stuff. So the FaceTime makes a big difference. At least getting to see them, and here my son's going to graduate in another year. So hopefully my wife will start traveling with me and kind of change the dynamics up a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, does your son is he on the fishing team?
Yes, sir. He's on me and another gentleman, or Brent Salt, are the captains for the high school fishing team here in Oolagaw, and real proud of what we've done there. We got a really good team, and we've sent 3 or 4 kids on to college with some scholarships, and pretty
Awesome.
exciting.
So how has your son and I know dads are kind of critical. We're very critical, I guess you could say. In your eyes, though, how do you fare that your son has done overall from start to finish? In his career so far.
I'm looking at him right now. He's done really well because he, in his defense, every fishing trip I took him on was a catching trip. It was never a go and find them trip, and he's made it quite clear that he doesn't want to fish for a living down the road, but he enjoys going, and he enjoys
Right.
the competition side of it. And for a guy that doesn't want to take it to the next level, he's got phenomenal tools, and like picking out where to go in a lake. Like he's really, really good, and his partner's really, really good. So it's been a lot of fun spending time in the boat with him, and kind of sad, I only got a year and a half left with him. He's just a junior, and
Yeah.
season's already half over. So it's one thing I never thought I'd enjoy as much as I do. It's intense in my boat though. Like he's gone from eating every hour on the hour. I was like, buddy, you're eating when we're moving. Like that's the only time you're going to eat, if you eat, and if you got some fish in the live well. And he'll tell you I've been pretty hard on both of them, but now they just do it. Like it's habit to them.
Yeah.
Like, they know
Yeah.
what pace to fish at. That's probably one thing those kids don't really understand, your pace and how quick you need to move and just go, 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 go. And that's one thing Major League Fishing's even brought out more of me. But no, they've gotten really good at it, and I don't want to brag on them, but I think they're 2 or 3 time state champs. So
Oh wow.
Heck yeah.
doing good. Yeah.
Now,
So what is your son's PBR
Don't ask that
or
question.
PB, not PBR, PB?
The PBR is going on in Vegas right now, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's not a fair question. Do we have to answer that on this? Because he's going to get over there and really brag. He caught a 12-1.
I was about to say I can pull the video up if I need
Five,
to.
6 years ago on a shaky head down there at Lake Falcon, and he lets everybody know about it. Everybody,
Including dad, huh?
oh yeah,
So,
yeah. Biggest is a 10-9. So there it is.
Uh-oh.
where'd you catch that at?
That one came at Toho. I caught a 10,
Now,
10-8, 10-9 at Amstead one time, but it was on my scales. Uh, caught a 10-2 at Wheeler one time, believe it or not. I mean, that was in practice. I've caught some big fish, though, down in Florida. And I caught another 10-pounder at Okeechobee, but I've never caught an 11 or anything close to it. My mother-in-law has caught a 12-pounder. My father-in-law's caught a 12-pounder. My brother-in-law's caught a 12-pounder. I've only caught it, and my son's caught a 12-pounder.
So it sounds like we just need to get on the boat with you.
Right.
Well, I didn't guide them all to those fish. The only one I guided was my son, but I'm like low man in this family. Anybody.
Yeah. I tell people, though, like, when they come out in the boat with me, if they catch more fish or they catch the biggest fish, I tell them that it's because they had a great guide. But if I catch more fish than you, and I just look at them and be like, man, you just suck today. So
yeah.
So what has been like one of the most enjoyable times that you've had traveling around the country doing tournament angler as a professional?
Ooh, that's a big question. I love. If I hadn't been for this career, I wouldn't have been to California or Japan or just traveled the world or our country, and just seeing how beautiful our country is. And I love that part of my job. But yeah, that's probably what I've enjoyed as much as anything. Just seeing all the different parts of the country and all the different lakes, and then on top of that, the people, like just everyday people. You never know. One of them ends up being your best friend for life, And I've got, a co-angler that I had at Toledo Bend now 10 or 12, 15 years ago, Mike Williams, one of my best friends ever, So another guy that I fished with just in Louisiana, I just like the relationships is probably one of the coolest to do from getting to do what I do, just the people you meet and how giving and nice the people are.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do you wish that that there would be like a big tournament that would go like with Bass Pro and stuff that would go out west to where y'all could fish the Delta or Clear Lake?
Absolutely. I just wish our league, or I just wish the leagues would do it. And I think it's a twofold. What I've been told why we don't, it's a twofold answer. One, they really don't want us. Maybe they don't have the infrastructure. Maybe they don't have the dollars. I don't know what it is. And then the league, it's a big expense on the league to get out there too.
Right.
So, but man, absolutely. It's cool. Like I'd definitely go back to Havasu and catch a smallmouth on a frog. Where else in the world can you do that?
Yeah. What has been the craziest thing that's happened to you out on the water?
Oh gosh. There's been lots of crazy people things. What people will do when they drive by. Craziest thing that's happened. One time, I literally reeled in a dead bass, and I had him hooked in the mouth. It was a fish that was really dead, that had got snagged up in a brush pile, and he was about 2.5 pounds. And somehow my line come through the brush pile. I'm flinging it off, and then I reel it in, and it's dead weight, and my hook was right in the fish's mouth. I guess was open down there, and I reeled in a dead fish. Never in my life. That's one of those questions. There's been so many things happen to me, like just boat crashes, there's all kinds of stuff. I don't know where to begin on that question.
Yeah. Now, we asked Clifford Perch that question, and he said, I don't know if you was with Bass or if it happened after MLF came about, but he was in Louisiana and had a dude that was running from the police or something like that escaped from the hospital, that like his intestines and stuff, like his belly was like opened up and his intestines were, and swam out and tried to get onto his boat while he was fishing a tournament.
Wow.
So,
Mm-mm-mm.
But
I got a crazy moment. me and O'Collin there, we was fishing. It's just happened this past summer. We was fishing. We was up in Upper Lake Chickamauga there, and we was fishing a flat. And I was throwing an old crankbait, and I threw it out there, and I was reeling in. I was just really digging the bottom. And all of a sudden, it felt like what I thought was a fish and hit it. And it was a good one. Well, about that time, all of a sudden, my reel had come loose from my rod.
Yeah.
So I'm back there just struggling, thinking I got this big fish, and I'm telling Colin, I said, "You gonna have to get back here and help me." So we finally got my reel attached back to my rod again and got it all tightened down. Got it to the boat, and I had caught another crankbait.
yeah,
I had caught another crankbait, and I was like, "What's the chances of that?" And well, the next cast, I lost that crankbait, and then so I started fishing with the one that I caught. Just a crazy story. It's just,
yeah.
I thought, well, hey.
So
Yeah.
um, is there like a do you prefer to go to like the highland reservoirs, or would you rather have like a river system?
Uh, Man, I like them both. I like them a whole lot. I like the Highlands just because of the patterns and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm probably a Highland guy.
Yeah.
I seem to tear my boat up really bad on rivers.
So, um, that well, we with being right here, we know that the river system, it could be one of those things that if the current's going, we
Well,
tell
now
people.
that kind of river, yeah, like the Tennessee River, that's when it's magical when it's all going. And then
It is.
Oh
if not, it's like a dead sea for me. So,
yeah, yeah. Everybody else
But
too.
and I'll tell you this. This is just a personal opinion. I hated the fact. I love that y'all came up to Chickamauga here this past spring, but I hated that y'all went down to Nickajack, because now Nickajack used to be the hidden gem in between Chick and Gunnersville, and now we can't shake them off with a stick after the showing that Jake put on and Jacob. So
yeah, he caught him. I remember at Fish Catch on Chickamauga, like speaking of Major League Fishing and one of the things that it makes you do, we had one of those first summertime events there. I hooked one, I want to say with less than a minute, 12-pound test, Berkeley 25.5. It's our deep diving plug that goes 25 feet. And I had to land that, it was an 820 or 880 in less than a minute on 12-pound test after a flurry. Like I hadn't retied in forever. And the things like you can land it. Like you just winch one of them in on 12-pound test, and I pinned her to the boat and got it over the side. There was a camera that day. It's footage is out there somewhere. But that things that Major League Fishing will make you do, like under those time constraints. That's one of them. It's just like, dang.
Yeah.
yeah. Now, looking ahead, what are your goals for the upcoming Bass Pro Tour season? And is there any particular event that you're most excited about?
Goal always is the same. Angler of the year. Just to compete for it. To win, it's phenomenal. I just want to be in competition for it towards that final event. I'm mega, mega looking forward to Grand. We got an event at Grand that I say that, and I'm a little leery because, I normally fish that under a 5-fish format that time of year. The fella's going to be able to go down through a line of willow trees and train wreck 2-pounders, like
Yeah,
train wreck them. So that's going to be a tough thing for me to figure out. Like, do I go try to do the offshore deal or just stick in the bushes and catch as many as I can? You don't normally win in the bushes that time of year, but you can catch a pile of them. And then I'm really, really looking forward to heavy hitters at Orange Lake and REDCREST, like Table Rock and,
yeah,
and heavy hitters. Like Orange Lake, we're going to put on the map. That place has got giants.
yeah. Now, what do you like the team format when they do that?
I do like it. It's a lot of fun. It's but have you ever seen two bulls in one little bitty pen? Like somebody's got to give, and you
Right.
know, I make the decisions, and just the other guys just got to go, and that's the one part of it, you know, that I struggle with because I got lots of ideas in my head how I'd want to make that day go, but I don't ever want to say nothing, you know. I just try to, so that's a little frustrating for me, but I love the format. It's a lot of fun. You know, if I'd like to have just the same guy all the time, and then you guys kind of work together, but you know, all the time,
Right.
that's a little more challenging.
So do you like it better with just the two, or because I can when they first started
Yeah, the
doing it,
first
they
one
had the
was free.
four.
Yeah, or four. Yeah, I think the two is really cool because you're in a boat together. You know,
Yeah.
if you weren't in a boat together and you're just on microphones, then you get to go do your deal, and either you're right or you're wrong, but at least you get to go do what you want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So well, we've got one more question for you, and we don't want to hold you up. And we ask this to everybody that comes on. And Pappy, you want to take it over, brother?
Yes, absolutely. Before I do, I just want to thank you, Mr. Evers, for
Thank
coming
you
Thank
on and joining us.
for your service
And
too.
man, just keep on hammering them out.
Yes, sir.
You at a young age, you're just now peaking. So
Yes, sir.
hey, just keep on, buddy.
Yes, sir.
But with that being said, if there was one person that you could fish with that is currently with us or passed on, who would that person be and why?
I mean, the obvious answer is Jesus because he knows where every bass is. I got so many questions for him and how our tournaments have gone or why this fish this way. But outside of him, it's Mark Davis. It's just somebody that's timeless that I look up to. He's on a mountaintop for me, and he has been for my whole career. I think the man's just awesome. I'd love to
Yeah,
spend a day in the boat with him. I really, really would.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And real quick again, can you tell us again like where they can get some pecans?
Absolutely, guys. Edwin Evers Pecans. It's just a website. We mail them out generally that same day. And if somebody's wanting some corporate gifts or gifts for Christmas, you know, you're not too late. You know, all throughout this week. I think we said the what we were told from the post people around the 16th is 16th to 18th, right in there. You're getting kind of on getting them there by Christmas, but. Yeah, Edwin Evers Pecans. You can just go to edwinevers.com and there's a link at that website that'll take you over to the store. And if anybody's listening from Oklahoma, we have a store right there on Highway 169 into the Gulf. So if you guys are ever traveling through or come through for a tournament, you guys can come check it out.
Yep. I do have one last question. Not fishing related. We kind of talked about it a little bit beforehand. What is your projections with Oklahoma?
We got to
Here
beat
we go.
Alabama twice. Dadgummit. I don't know about that one. We got a defense, though, that's going to keep us in every game. We got Mason Thomas coming back. You got to think Alabama's going to game plan for what we did to them the first time. So I don't know how in the world we beat them twice. So for us to beat them a third time would be a miracle, but I got high hopes. So I don't know how it happened twice. You know,
Stop the pass.
What's that?
That's it. Just
Stop
stop the pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make them run the ball. I mean,
Yeah.
so old Todd hasn't looked the same here the past 5 games as he did after getting beat by Florida State. So
I don't wish no bad will against Alabama, but I would like to win by 1 point if you guys don't mind.
well, I will say y'all have definitely deserved to be in that position over Alabama. I'm just saying. So.
Yeah. Your team, Vanderbilt, they had a heck of a season, with the exception of one or two games. It's I think the whole SEC ought to be in there, and none of them others are. I don't know. That'll probably upset them.
Well, whenever they're ready to play on that go through the gauntlet of the SEC, they can just come on over. So,
yeah, that's right.
but
Let's get Notre Dame in our conference and see what they say.
That's right. Yeah.
so, well, brother, thank you so much for coming on, and we appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you here at a couple of events here. This year, we're going to be doing quite a bit with MLF and the Bass Pro Tour. And so hopefully at REDCREST we can hit you up and do a quick little interview with you. And but I know I'll definitely see you at ICAST. And but brother, thank you so much. Tell Tuesday, thank you for allowing us to have you for an hour. And we deeply appreciate it, brother.
Send me your address. I'll send you some pecans.
I will. I will.
Go
Thank
ahead,
you, sir.
hold y'all's address, and I'll get some of them out tomorrow too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Guys, thank you again for watching. Hope you have a blessed day. Remember, God loves you as if you were the only person in this world to love. And we will see you next week, guys.
Amen.